The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Nick Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code MLB SGPN. Get a $1,000 bonus credit. And welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is currently Friday afternoon, roughly 5 p.m. Eastern Time on April 25th. I'm Roast Episode Scott Reichel, joined again by Lonte Smith together. We're going to break down the games for the Saturday card in baseball. Lonte, how's it going with you? I know that we were kind of waiting for the only day game to start today. And it started about 3 hours late, but better late than never. So how's it going with you?
Yeah, not bad, man. Looking forward to the slate. Like I said, I know we talked yesterday about some of the games. So basically just same matchups, different pitchers. So we're in that like weird dynamic. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to the matchups. I like the card this weekend. So hopefully we can get some winners and some exciting games.
Yeah, definitely true. Looking forward to the games on Saturday. Should be fun. I would ask you about the games that happened today, but nothing happened yet. So can't really talk about that. But anyway, point, it should be fun. Of course, I got 15 games to go through. So I believe we have lines on all of them.
We're on a streak. So, we're on a streak.
I was going to say, but I'm saying usually we have one or two games where we're missing a line, and we got to basically skip through it. But unfortunately, for us, that does happen more often than not. But luckily for us, that is not the case tomorrow. So we do have every game with lines included for this episode. Anyway, before we get into any of the games here for Saturday, a reminder that you can check out the SGPN podcast and the SGPN picks with one easy location, completely free SGPN app. So don't forget to check out the App Store, download the SGPN app. Moving on to the games here for Saturday. Starting off with the first game, you have the Blue Jays taking on the Yankees. Now, for this game, should be a bit interesting because the Blue Jays have been in free fall lately. Yankees in first place. Fried is pitching against Gausman. Fried is 4-0, 1.42 ERA. He had a no-hitter that got changed by the scorekeeper last game a couple innings later, but he was still very good against Tampa last time out. Gausman, though, has been good, too. Was not very good last time out, though, against Houston, but 2-2, 3.16 ERA. Yankees minus 180. Toronto is plus 150, and the over-under in this game is set at 9. First glance, 9 is too high for me. I think this total should be lower. I probably have it around 8.5, but I think you're looking at a spot where the Yankees have been hitting okay, most of the top of the order, for being honest here. Toronto's offense did nothing in the Houston series. Fried's been great. Gausman's been very good for the most part, despite not being good last start. Think that, once again, it's a bit of a high total. 180, though, does feel massive. I don't really want to take that with the Yankees, but I'll go with the under instead. I'll dare Toronto's offense to do anything. So give me the under 9 in this game.
Yeah, I'll take the first 5 under, similar to what your handicap was. I trust both pitchers early on. I mean, Gausman's been his hit rate's been up over his last 2 starts. And if you look at just his starts in totality, he had 6 earned runs combined in his last 2 versus 5 in the previous 3. Hasn't really pitched well against the Yankees the last 2 starts. I mean, just small sample size. Last 2 starts, 11 runs allowed versus the Yankees. Obviously, different lineup. And I mean, Fried's been really good. I had my questions about him being kind of the de facto number 1.
He had a bad first start, and he's been great ever since.
Yeah, he's been really, really good since 2 or less allowed in pretty much all of his starts. 6+ innings in 3 straight. And you mentioned the no-hitter he had going. So I'm generally looking to kind of fade teams. I mean, fade pitches off of that no-hitter. But I just think
he didn't finish the no-hitter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He just had it. So.
Yeah, or somewhere close. Like anytime they get somewhere close or have the no-hitter, I kind of like play against that. But again, I really think this is an advantageous matchup for the Yankees. They generally play Toronto well. And Toronto, while they were a little bit better early on, kind of reverting back to their old inconsistent ways. They're hitting about 216 the last 10, 219 overall on the road. So Bats struggling on the road. I think they struggle here against Fried. So I like that first 5 under. 180, a little bit too high. I would probably, if you want to just get some bang for your buck, just play the Yankees run line if you're into that type of thing. But I just can't lay 180.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Moving on to the next game, you have the Orioles taking on the Tigers. For this game, you have Morton pitching. Well, that's enough said. Against Job, who has currently been pretty good so far for Detroit. 2-0, 2.70 ERA. For Morton, 0-5, 10.89 ERA. I've been critical of him for about a month, and I've been right for a month straight. For the actual money line, though, Detroit is minus 125, Baltimore's plus 105, and the over-under in this game is set at 9. I said Charlie Morton. It's like Beetlejuice, you say it 3 times, It's kind of Charlie Morton here, but I said his name. I feel like that's enough said. Give me Detroit. They should be bigger favorites. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Detroit team to the over. I think we talked about it yesterday, how they've been winning at home despite not having the best offensive numbers. I like the first 5 team total over. I mean, Morton's been pretty much bat in practice. He also walks guys. He had 4+ walks in 2 of his last 3. A home run allowed in 4 straight. I do think Detroit can get to him here. I like Job, so I want to shed some light on him. He's been really, really solid thus far. He's got a low hit rate. Baltimore's just not been good at all. Job's 2 runs or less allowed in 3 of his 4 starts. Does not strike out a lot of guys, so that would be kind of like projecting forward. I don't think it'll come to fruition in this matchup, but projecting forward, I think that could be an issue because he's typically a lot of, like, ground ball stuff, and sometimes it can get away from him. He can have some line drives here and there. So I don't think Baltimore will be able to take advantage. I think Detroit buries him here. I like Detroit. I like the first 5 team total over as well.
Yeah, I think that once again, until Morton actually looks even okay for one start, I'll keep fading him blindly.
Yep.
Job's 100%. Been good. Baltimore
Yep.
Can't pitch, so good enough for me. Give me Detroit, pretty simple, but I'll keep doing it until Morton actually pitches well for once.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to the next game, you have the Angels taking on the Twins. For this game, you have Kikuchi taking on Wiz Richardson. You have the Twins at -120. The Angels at even money, and the over-under is set at about 8. Now, the offenses have not been that good lately. The Angels' offense was great for the first couple weeks. Then they've cooled off. We know Minnesota is not good at all. They're off of a, once again, shutout loss to the White Sox last game, with, of course, the game on Friday still to be played, but still. You're looking at both pitchers not being great, but not being terrible. But at first glance, 8 feels too low for a total. I understand that both offenses have been pretty, I'll say, up and down, if that's the way you want to phrase it. But I think 8's too low. I'll go with the over.
Yeah, I had a tough time with this game. You mentioned the offenses. I mean, I think Angels started off so hot, they only had one way to go. They're hitting like 176 in their last 10, 2.4 runs per 9. And that's something that's concerning, but I think they'll find their level and be not as good as they were early on, but I think they'll be somewhere in the middle. And I like Kikuchi. He's had 2 strong starts after struggling a bit early. I mean, 2 earned runs in his last 2 versus 10 combined in his 3 prior. He's still having some kind of walk issues that he needs to kind of cut down on. Minnesota, I mean, I think Minnesota is the same handicap every time. They're just going to be kind of steady. They don't look good. They don't look bad. They're just like pretty average, which is
You're looking at like 3-4 runs and you're hoping for the best.
Yeah, and it's just it's hard to handicap them not knowing which, are they going to get the high end version of them or are you going to get the low end version? So I generally stay away from Minnesota games unless they're a dog. I'm gonna go with the road team here. I'm gonna go with Kikuchi. Ryan's been a little inconsistent. He did get shelled versus Atlanta, but 1 combined allowed in his previous 2. I think the Angels can wake up offensively here. I think Kikuchi can go great. Well, not great, but I think he can go good. So I'm gonna take the Angels on the road.
Yeah, I don't mind getting even money or so, fading Minnesota. I feel like
it's a coin flip game.
I was going to say it might be a series where we just blindly take the dog in every game and hope for the best. So
Yeah.
I don't mind that as an angle too. Moving on to the next game, you have the Brewers taking on the Cardinals. For this game, you have Priester, who's randomly been really good so far this season. 1-0, 1.93 ERA against Sonny Gray, who's been solid record-wise, 3.41 ERA, so still been steady as well. Cardinals, though, -160. The Brewers are +135. Over-under in this game is set at 7.5. Priester's been good, not going much distance. Milwaukee's bullpen's been a bit of a problem so far this season, but Milwaukee is currently 13-13. 4-9 on the road, though, and the Cardinals are 10-15, but 8-4 at home. So Busch Stadium has been kind to the Cardinals so far this season, but based on pricing alone, I can't lay 160 with St. Louis. I just can't do it. I think Milwaukee's the better team. Milwaukee, I still think, despite being at 500 right now, might still be a playoff team. We'll see. They always seem to get themselves in the hunt. St. Louis probably won't be, if we're being honest here. But I think you're looking at Sonny Gray being a solid pitcher, but -160 does feel pretty steep for this Cardinals team. I'm taking Milwaukee plus about 135, 140.
Yeah, I love Milwaukee in this game. I think we liked them yesterday. I'm probably going to bet them every game in the series.
Common theme, the Cardinals keep being favored. I'm like, I don't think you're actually good at baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, especially with that bullpen. I mean, even if Gray goes well, he's not going to go all 9. Well, I mean, it's possible, but I don't think he's going to go all 9. And even then, I think Milwaukee's potent enough offensively to kind of get at least a couple of runs off of him. And Dan Priester's been really good as of late. I think he's got 2 or less allowed in 3 of his 4 starts. No, in 3 straight, 2 or less allowed. He has had some walk issues. And St. Louis offensively, that is the one good part of their team. So I like over, and I like the Brewers. I mean, I just simply off price alone, I just don't think Gray is warranted to be. I mean, I get it. They're at home. They played well at home. But, I mean, Gray's been – like, if I saw something different, he's not been, like, 165, 170 good this season thus far. He's been steady, but not 165, 170 against the Brewers, who have been pretty steady going forward. So I'll take the dog. I think Priester will pitch well as long as he can keep down those walks and keep St. Louis off the bags. I like Milwaukee to win this game.
Yeah, Milwaukee's off a bit of a pretty poor series against San Francisco, where they should have split. They punted the final game of the series, and they ended up losing 3 out of 4. So we'll see once again how they bounce back, but they've not been on the road, and hopefully they'll be able to turn that in our favor here for this game on Saturday. Moving on to the Reds against the Rockies, you have Green off of a bad start against the Orioles last time out. In fact, he was really bad. 3 innings and 5 runs allowed. 3 home runs allowed. He was unhittable before that, so kind of a weird flare-up, but we'll see how he looks in Coors. For the Rockies, you have Sanzatella, who's 1-3, 4.81 ERA. Very weird season. Ton of contact, barely any strikeouts, yet he's allowed less than 2 earned in 3 of his 5 starts. So he had 2 really bad outings in a row against Milwaukee and against the Dodgers, but he was able to bounce back against the Nationals the last time out, as he gave up 1 run in 6 innings. Still, I don't think Sanzatella is actually that good, and pitching to contact is definitely concerning because you can get blown up, especially at home in Coors Field. I like Green, even though he was bad in his last outing. I think he'll bounce back here. I'll go with the Reds minus 1.5. I mean, Reds are minus 190, so you got to find a pivot, which would be the run line, if anything. If you want to go for the Reds run line, you can find that price at around minus 128, give or take, which I think is fine. I see 150 at Bet365, but I found a 128 on FanDuel. I'll go with it. I mean, I don't need another excuse to fade the Rockies, but I do think that backing Hunter Green's a good reason to back the Reds. So I'll go with the Reds minus 1.5.
Yeah, I think what you said about Sensatella was exactly how I had my handicap. Low K rate, hit rate is high, but can Cincinnati take advantage is what I'm looking at here. I think they can in this specific spot. I think Green will go well. A huge bounce back spot for him, like you mentioned. He's been, just one bad outing, which I won't kill him for. But in Coors, I think he'll have to keep the ball on the ground for obvious reasons. I think he'll be fine. I like Cincinnati's team total over. I don't really want to lay that amount. I can kind of get behind what you were saying, but I think they can get 6 runs, 6-7 runs here on Sensatella, especially if they can get it from the top of that lineup. If they can get some consistency from the top of that lineup. So I'm gonna go Cincinnati team total over. I would probably go first 5 team total over as well. Just kind of split a unit there. I think we get the best of both worlds with the Rockies, with Sensatella, and then the bullpen if they have to go to it a little bit earlier.
That was also the problem I ran into, though, that I agree with you. I do think that the Reds offense should get going, but I don't want to back the Reds without taking Hunter Green as part of the attachment. I feel like if we're looking at this rotation, I know Abbott's going tonight. We'll see how he goes. He's been pretty good so far this season. A limited sample. We'll see how he does for the game tonight. Yeah. Green, though, has been elite for the entire season except for that last start. And he almost had a complete game against the Giants, which I think ended in a shutout victory as a team. The point is, I agree, Cincinnati should be able to get the Sanzatella, but if Green can go distance and he can pitch well, he might give you 7 or 8 quality innings. And if that happens, I feel like I need to have that as part of the handicap because I want not only to fade Sanzatella, but I want to capitalize on having the best starter in their rotation by a mile. So I'd rather go with once again, a Green inclusion. So that's why I went with the Reds team total. The Reds, that's why I ignored the Reds team total and went with the run line instead.
Yeah, that's fair.
I agree with what you're saying. I just think that I want Green there. You said keeping the ball on the ground. I'm not sure the Rockies are going to touch the ball. It's a separate point. You might see Green with like 10 strikeouts in this game. That wouldn't shock me. Yeah. So either way, the Rockies are 4-20. Like, I don't really need a reason besides them being terrible to fade them. But Hunter Green's a nice plus. So I'll take that with the Reds run line in that game. Before we get into any other games on the Saturday card, a reminder they're brought to you by EdgeBoost because they're the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimum balance, earn cash rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today. EdgeBoost, the bet per code SGPN. Deposit $25 and EdgeBoost will match the deposit. That's EdgeBoost, the bet per code SGPN. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag because they're the book to bet in every sport. They have the NBA playoffs, they have the MLB season, they have the NHL playoffs, they have WNBA coming up in about a month or so. They have futures if you want to go into that. You're looking at props in every game as well. You could also use it for a ton of locations. You could also use crypto for easy deposits on invest payouts. Once again, a reminder to sign up for MyBookie.ag with the promo code SGPN for 100% odds to match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB podcast. Finished going through the Reds and Rockies game. Time to move on into the next game. The Mets, the surging Mets, taking on the Nationals. For this one, you have Holmes against Lord. For the money line here, the Mets are minus 180. The Nationals are plus 150. For the over-under, I see the line being around 9.5. Holmes, though, I was skeptical of because you converted a pitcher who has some command issues at times into a starter. And I feel like that was going to be definitely a pretty dangerous proposition. And it's worked out. He's been good. 2-1, 3.16 ERA. Lord, though, has been okay. I mean, he's not really well known. So far this season, he's made 5 outings. He's not gone more than 4 1/3 in any of them. And you're looking at his 3 starts of the season. He has gone less than 4 2/3 in all 3 of those. So once again, not exactly the best number so far. But Holmes has been good. So if you want to go for that, you can definitely go with the Mets. You can also back the Mets because they are right now one of the hottest teams in the league. They are 18-7. I believe they've won 7 in a row, I believe. They've won 7 in a row, first place by 5 games already in the NL East. Nationals are going along. They're 11-14, kind of like what we thought they'd be. But, of course, Abrams is still injured. We'll see when he comes back. But I'll go with the Mets minus 1.5. I understand the argument might being that, Holmes can flare up at times. But, Lord, I have no actual confidence in. And the Nationals bullpen, we know, can be a bit ugly. Mets bullpen's been fantastic. Edwin Diaz found out that one leg's longer than the other, but he hasn't been good anyway. I don't know if you heard that story. Heard that story?
No, I haven't.
So Diaz ended up having a pretty rough outing. I think it was against the Phillies in that final game that they came back and they won. They ended up having the walk-off. And he started cramping. And he said in the post-game interview that the Mets trainers found out that one leg of his was longer than the other. And that was like resulting in his cramping or something. And I'm like, all right, this doesn't sound like a fully flushed out medical analysis here, but apparently one leg's longer than the other. I don't think Edwin Diaz is that good. But anyway, the point is one leg might be longer than the other. So something to keep in mind. But besides him, the entire bullpen's been fantastic. So
pitching staff in general.
They've been really good. But I like how Holmes has performed. I do think that the bullpen should go well. Lord goes no length. I don't trust the actual relievers for Washington. Once again, Finnegan's been okay, but besides that, I'm not really impressed. Give me Mets minus 1.5.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same path. Holmes, he's at 6+ Ks and 4 straight as well, so he's getting some whiffs there.
The issue is always the walks with Holmes, but so far it's been fine.
So far, so good. Yeah. And Washington's offense can kind of be up and down. When they're good, they're really good. When they're bad, they're really bad. Not really consistent. I think that's what you expect in a younger team like they have. But like you said, they were going pretty well. They're playing at the level that I thought they would play at. And Lord, just not much length, like you mentioned. Ironically, he pitched well versus the Dodgers, but struggled versus Pittsburgh and Colorado. So I thought that was kind of odd. But I do like the Mets here. I think they can go well. A lot of their metrics are just generally like really home based right now because they perform well at home. They're not so good on the road. So I'm interested to see how they perform in this specific series. Obviously it's not a ton of travel for them, but still it's considered a road game. So I want to see their offense kind of get going like they did against St. Louis, who's got the pitching staff who we just talked about was really bad. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Mets kind of flex their muscles here, especially with the pitching being so good. So I like the Mets as well, minus 1.5.
Yeah, there's 2 ways to look at it. On one hand, they're very, as you said, right now home-centric because they're currently at 500 on the road and they're well over at home. However, you could also look at it saying they swept the Cardinals and they swept the Phillies. So at least they've been winning games against teams that you could argue are worst-case scenario better or equal to Washington. And the Mets were able to win all those games. So I think the Mets have some value. Run line's minus 120. If you want to go for home strikeouts, that's an option too. Besides James Wood, though, I'm not really scared of anybody in this lineup, and I feel like that's problematic. So I need Abrams back. Abrams definitely a serious threat on top of the lineup, and with him being gone, it feels like they don't have much right now for Washington. Moving on to the next game, you have the Phillies taking on the Cubs. Game's going right now, actually. Cubs are up 1-0 in the bottom of the second, but for the game on Saturday, you're looking at the matchup between Luzardo and Brown. Minus 110 apiece on both teams, and for the over-under, I see 7. Luzardo, though, has been really, really good. A 2-0, 2.08 ERA. Ben Brown, 2-1, 4.57 ERA. Cubs, though, have been solid. They've won so far 16 of the first 26 games, so they are in first place by 3 games over Milwaukee. But Brown has been really good lately. Last 2 starts, 10 innings pitched, 1 run allowed. He was really bad early on. Luzardo's been solid, I'll put it that way, so far for Philly. But the team's not been very good on the road. They're 4-8, and the Cubs are 8-5 at home. I think it's a very tough game to break down. This is definitely a game that I think is worthy of a pick'em tag on both sides because I really don't see much separating these teams. I think Philly's got the better starting pitcher, but Brown has been better lately, so I have to at least acknowledge it. But I'm going to ask you because 7 feels very low. I have to imagine the wind's blowing in Wrigley tomorrow. I just got to confirm that. The wind is blowing in at 10 miles an hour, 11 miles an hour, supposed to be about 40 degrees, 45 degrees. So I think I am on the under in this game. I don't feel great about it, but it's a classic cold weather Wrigley game with the wind blowing in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind maybe the first 5 under, maybe the full game under, but this game screams 3-2 somebody. So I'll take the under 7.
Yeah, hopefully that 3-2 is the Cubs because I like the Cubs here. I mean, they have been one of the better teams in the MLB. They're hitting the ball extremely well at home.
They're good against the Dodgers too.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's who you are going to have to be your best at against them. And Philly, if you just compare and contrast what Chicago's doing at home versus what Philly's been doing on the road, it's not really close. Philly's actually hitting the ball 8 hits per game on the road.
They can't get hit with guys on base. That's the problem they run into.
Right, they're hitting 225, and their starters ERA is above 4 on the road. Now, Luzardo has pitched really well. He's probably been the best in the rotation so far.
Yeah, definitely.
His hit rate's been up a bit over his last 3, but still, I think he's been fine, and I think he can go well here, which goes well with your under. I like Brown as well. Brown's been really good. 1 combined this last 2 versus 8 in his previous 2 starts. So I like how he's progressing. I don't like that he doesn't go a ton of length, but because of the bullpen ERA is like right around 5.5 over the last 10. So that's kind of concerning. But I'm going to take the Cubs here. I'm going to trust the offense to get things done. It seems like every time they need like a hit or a rally, they always get it. Yeah, and that's just something that I like to see in the team. So at home with this price, I'm going to take the Cubbies.
Yeah, shout out to PCA, by the way. Crow Armstrong's been really good.
Oh, man, he's been great. He's been
great. Tucker's been everything they wanted.
Absolutely.
And he's definitely helped open things up for the other guys in the lineup. So I do like how the Cubs are performing right now. I agree with you. Maybe Phillies, if you want to go for the full game because you don't trust the Cubs bullpen. But I don't really like Phillies' situation late in games either. I mean, it's mostly Romano, but they have not been that great closing games or finishing games off either. So both teams have bullpen concerns right now, but both teams I do think have a pretty good environment for a low-scoring game. I'll go with the under in this one. Moving on to the next game, you have the Rangers taking on the Giants. For this game, you have Molly, who's quietly been unbelievable this season. A 3-0, .680 ERA. You would have never guessed, but Molly's been really good. A Robbie Ray, 3-0, 4.07 ERA, which is a good summary of why people don't factor wins in anymore to Cy Young races. For the actual money line here, the Giants are -115. Rangers are -105, and for the over-under, I see the line being set at around 8 flat. Bit of juice to the under, though, at around -115. Molly's been great. Rangers, though, kind of similar to this Phillies team. They're good overall record, or I should say they're over 500, but they're 4-and on the road, which has been a problem. Giants have been good. They're 17-9. They're 7-3 at home. Ray, though, has really been underwhelming, but they keep giving him run support, and he was better against the Brewers, kind of. 5 innings, 2 runs, did walk 3 guys. He's walked at least 3 guys in 4 straight starts, and he's going no length at all. He's gone to less than 5 1/3 in 3 straight outings. But the Giants, I said before, score a ton of runs. They've scored 5+ runs in 4 of his 5 starts, and they've won all 5 games he's pitched in this season. So I'll ask you, because at first glance, I like the Rangers' first 5 because I like Molly, and Ray does give up damage. He just ends up limiting it to some degree while the offense wakes up. But I do think Molly has been, objectively speaking, the better pitcher by a wide margin, and I like the price. So I'll go with the Rangers in this one. What I think is a pretty decent price in the first 5, if I had to go for it. I mean, they're +102 on FanDuel for the full game, so you might end up getting like even money, maybe like -105. I'll take that. I'd rather just fade Ray.
Yeah, I want to fade Ray as well. I like Molly. Molly's been, like you mentioned, incredible. It's coming
.68. You would have never have guessed.
Yeah, he's coming in on 13 scoreless, if I'm not mistaken. I think 13 scoreless. Has not allowed more than 1 earned run in any start. Good offenses as well. If faced two offenses, well, one offense that we talked about just a second ago, and one we're going to get to, the Dodgers and the Cubs. No more than 3 hits allowed, so he's not even allowing people to put the bat on the ball. And I like that in this specific matchup. Ray, I think he pretty much hit on everything what is to dislike about Ray. So I'm going to take Molly here, just a better better form right now. Ray's got to clean up some things, so I'm going to take Texas first 5 in full game.
Yep. Moving on to the next game, you have, of course, the series we all want to talk about, White Sox and A's. For this one, you have Cannon against Springs. The A's are minus 215. Okay, the White Sox are plus 180. Yeah, Cannon 4.81 ERA, Springs 3-2 with a 5.64 ERA. A lot of run support over there in Sacramento. Over/under in this game is set at about 9.5, but it is plus money though to the over. I see 9.5 plus 105 on the over on Caesars. Minus 215. I understand it, but I hate it. I don't have much to add here. They just priced out the A's. Like, there's no way for me to back them unless you go run the line. I don't want to do that with the home team. Yeah. Maybe you go with White Sox team total over and you hope they get the Springs, but
it's the only thing that's playable.
I don't like Cannon, so I don't really want to make an argument for the White Sox. They're 2-11 on the road, and this team's horrible. Like, I got nothing else to add, but White Sox team total over, and you hope Springs struggles again because Springs' last start left early, actually, against the Brewers with an injury, but apparently he's okay. He's also like Ray. He's walked at least 2 guys in 4 straight. He's allowed at least 3 runs in 4 straight, at least 4 runs in 3 of the last 4. He's been pretty much awful, and I don't think Cannon's that great either, but I'd rather pick the White Sox to score some runs. White Sox team total over, I guess. So...
yeah, I would just go maybe over just in general, but I mean, this is a disgusting series, a disgusting game, disgusting price. I would just go over, if anything. I don't really have much to add. Just 2 inconsistent pitchers who are probably going to put guys on base, and it's up to the other team to capitalize. I do think the A's can capitalize a lot more, but I would just go over, if anything.
I saw Butler's name yesterday. He had a home run. I haven't heard that name all year, so he finally did something.
Like Butler.
I was saying, so do I. Unfortunately, though, because he was so good last year, we were expecting him to just come out swinging this season, and it's been kind of quiet. But he has 4 home runs. I mean, he's fine. He's batting .271. I just feel like I was expecting to hear his name more than I have been. But he actually homered in 2 of the last 3 games. It was not yesterday. But he has been performing better lately. So with him waking up, with Rooker, with, of course, all the weapons they have, Soderstrom, who's been a monster this season, and Jack Wilson, who never walks ever, but still has a pretty decent average, I think you're looking at a good spot for, once again, the A's offense to perform well. I think the White Sox can do some damage too. Maybe the over, if you think the A's have a shot at scoring like 7 in this game and they just are able to carry the game over by themselves, but not really the most appealing game in the world. Moving on to the next game, you have the Red Sox taking on the Guardians. For this game, you have Buehler taking on Allen. For this game, you have minus 115 on Cleveland. You have minus 105 for Buehler and the Red Sox. For the over-under, I see the line being set at about 7.5 or 8. So shop around, depending on if you want the over or the under. Buehler, though, was really bad early. Since then, he's been really, really good. He's allowed less than 3 earned in 3 straight. He's been rolling. Logan Allen, I feel like, has been alternating between the good stretches in the majors and the minor leagues. It's kind of the summary of his career. But so far, it's been good. He's allowed a total of 1 earned run in his last 3 outings combined. I will point out, though, the distance can be a bit of a concern. He has gone to less than 6 in all 4 outings, but he's been good lately. So for me, I like the under in this game. I think both pitchers can go well. Cleveland, we know, has been okay offensively. They're the same offense every year. Boston, though, is on a bit of, I'd say, a downswing offensively based on how they performed the last couple games against Seattle. But I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Buehler, I had question marks with, and he's turned it around. So good for him. I'll go with the under at 8.
Yeah, I like Cleveland. They're hitting righties pretty well, about 251, and they're not hitting the ball well as a team overall, but they hit righties pretty well on a consistent basis. Allen, like, he didn't play, just to add on to your point, he has been good, has not faced a ton of good offenses in that span. And I think Boston, while they've been struggling, I think this will probably be the best offense that Allen's gone against. And I mean, I like Buehler. I like him a lot. I think he's pitched a lot better, and that's a credit to him. A 3 earned combined in his last 2 versus 8 in the prior 2. So I think that is trending forward. Boston just too inconsistent for me. I think Cleveland has, similar to Minnesota, that same steady level that they can just stay at. They're not too high.
At least they can pitch. That's the upgrade over Minnesota.
Yeah, and the bullpen has been a lot better as of late. So I like Cleveland here at home. I think Allen can go well. Yeah, he just got the. I mean, he doesn't have to go like 6 2/3 or 7. He can just go 5 2/3, and they get it to the bullpen, and they'll pretty much handle the rest. So I like Cleveland in this spot. I like your undercall as well.
Yeah, you mentioned Logan Allen's opponents so far. I'll read them off. Faced off against the Padres in his first outing, got shelled. Seven hits, 4 runs, and 5 1/3. The other 3 outings, White Sox, who we know are awful, Orioles, who have been underwhelming, and Pirates. So, yes, you are right. They faced off against some pretty bad offenses recently, and Webb was able to shine. Not Webb, sorry. That's a different Logan. Logan Allen was able to shine. But Boston, once again, has been kind of slumping. We'll see if they get back on track here, but I'll go with the under in this game. Moving on to the next game, you have the Astros taking on the Royals. For this game, you have Valdez taking on Waka. 2 pitchers who've been underwhelming so far this season. For the money line, Houston -150. You have the Royals at +125. Over-under in this game, I see at about 8. So Kansas City's been very good at home. They are below 500 overall, but they're 9-4 at home. As for the Astros, they're 13-11, but not that great on the road as they are 4-5. But in Kauffman, Kansas City's been dangerous. Now, they face off against the Rockies, which definitely helps because the Rockies we know are useless. But Valdez has been bad. Waka's not been great either. I think Valdez is better, but -150 is massive for 2 teams that I think are kind of similar in a way.
It is, bro.
I'll go with the plus money. That's massive. If Valdez was like -125, I would take it. 150 with Houston, though. I know they've played a little bit better lately, but that's way too steep for me. I'll go with Kansas City.
Yeah, and I wanted to come in betting Houston. I think I bet them yesterday. Well, I did bet them yesterday. Well, I bet them on yesterday's show for today. Yep. And I just don't think like this isn't Valdez has been good, and I mean he's not been good, but Houston's been good as of late. And I think mixing that with the perception that Valdez is gonna have one of his better games, I think that's why we're getting to this price. But he's been extremely high variance in his last 4 starts. I mean, in two of those 4 starts he gave up 12 runs. In the other 2 he gave up 0. Yep. So, I mean, like, what are you going to get? You never really know. And Waka's been steady, which, I mean, you want to bet on the steady. And Kansas City at home, you already mentioned it. They got to get going a little bit more offensively. They generally play better offensively at home. They just haven't been able to do so thus far. But, yeah, I think the price-wise, I wanted to bet. This is sometimes coming in, like, ready to bet on Houston for the entire series because I thought this could be a good series for Houston, being that they have been playing so well. But not with this price, man. Not at 150. Maybe Valdez. If Valdez beats me, I mean, he's more than capable of doing so. But just as high variance as what we've seen, like I haven't been able to trust him enough to lay 150 on the road. So I'm going to go with Kansas City as well.
Well, I do want to ask because I did find some better prices. What would be your cutoff for Houston?
130, 125, 130.
I found 138. So that's still a bit much. That's still a bit much, but it's not
125, 130 is what I would price it like a buy point.
Yeah, maybe if you want Houston, wait till the top of the first, hope nobody scores, and then you end up live betting them. That could be an option for you if you want to do that. But anyway, moving on to the next game, you have the Braves taking on the Diamondbacks. So for this game, you have Holmes, who's quietly been really good for this rotation. They need him because they've been really bad rotation-wise so far this season. And you have Kelly pitching for Arizona, who's been good besides getting shelled by the Yankees that one time. Arizona, though, is -120. You have Atlanta at even money. And for the over-under in this game, I see the line being set at around, I see 9.5. I mean, 9.5 feels massive.
It does.
I would have to go under just based on where the line is. Now, Arizona's been fine. They're 14-11. Corbin Carroll's been a monster. I know Adam and I gave him out to win MVP, and so far he looks really, really good right now. They've not been playing that well, though, as they have lost 4 of their last 6. Braves, we know, are really bad on the road. They are currently 2-11 on the road. It's been ugly, but Holmes has been a bright spot. 2-1, 3.22 ERA. Not great on the road, but he has allowed less than 3. He's allowed less than 2 earned in 2 of his last 3. So he's got that going for him. But I think for this game, it's under pass. 9.5 is just way too high for me. I got to go with the under.
Yeah, I struggled with this game. I mean, with this series that we talked about yesterday as well. Like Atlanta, I want to say that they built something like some momentum going forward, but then again, like I have to see it first. And granted, of those 11 losses, 2 series, they faced 2 of the best teams in the MLB. So, you look into that how you may, but I think that's not really indicative of the team that they are. And of course, they were at the top of their line. I mean, the top of their pitching rotations as well when they faced those 2 teams. So, I don't really put a lot of stock into that. They've been playing better as of late, but like you mentioned with the home road splits, those were at home. And Holmes has been okay, somewhat inefficient. He's got some walk issues as well. He's got 4 walks in 3 of his 4 starts. Can Arizona kind of dictate the pace and be patient at the plate? I don't really know. And Kelly's been good after that, besides the one start versus the Yankees. He's also going length. I mean, 6 innings pitched in back-to-back starts. So this was a tough one for me. I'm probably just going to end up betting the dog in every game and just seeing if I can come out positive. So I'm going to go with the dog here with Holmes and the Braves.
I would have taken Arizona, but I don't like how they've played. Losing 4 of their last 6. But I think Kelly is better or more reliable than Holmes, at least based on sample size that we've seen for years at this point. So I'd go with Arizona, but I'm not going to bet that. I prefer the under in the game. Absolutely. Moving on to the Rays against the Padres. You have a matchup between Pepiot and my boy Dylan Cease. For the actual matchup here, the Padres, of course, are 12-1 at home. It's why they're minus 150. Tampa, though, is plus 125 on the road. They are 2-4 on the road. So they have played just doing the math here. They played 19 of their first 25 games at home. Yeah, that's how that's going. For this matchup, though, Cease 1-1, 6.04 ERA, and the over-under in this game is set at 7. I have issues with both pitchers. Pepiot started off pretty good. Then he's been kind of bad lately, as he's 1-3, 4.82 ERA. Cease, I roasted on the show, and I think he's been bad in every outing since, but he was okay recently. 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs against the Astros, 5 2/3, 7 hits, 2 earned runs against the Cubs. So he hasn't been pitching better lately. Still not amazing, but I think he can go okay in this outing. Tampa's still not a great offense, and that is definitely a problem for them because they're relying so heavily on the younger guys. San Diego, though, is like minus 150 again, and that does feel pretty steep, but they're 12-1 at home. I'm kind of stuck here, to be honest. Padres, maybe team total if you want to ignore Cease and just fade Pepiot, but I think I got to take Padres minus 1.5 at home because they're 12-1 at home.
It's a good way to go. I mean, I like the Padres in the series. I told you this yesterday on the show. I think it's a big series for them, especially after struggling on the road. They're back home. They had a day off, so they should. Well, I mean, obviously, this is kind of it doesn't affect this game specifically, but I'm just speaking in general. Like they had a day off to kind of get things reset. They got their bullpen back reset. I really think that this is going to be a big series for the Padres. Both teams, I like the over as well. Pepiot's high hit rate, 12 earned runs allowed in his last 3 starts. But Cease also has a high hit rate. It's been up over the last 2 starts. So I expect both offenses to kind of get things going. I just expect San Diego to kind of outlast them here in a high scoring game. So I think we can see maybe like an 8-5 type of game with the Padres coming out on top.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I just don't think Tampa's that good. I mean, you're looking at the young players.
Oh, yeah, I can't disagree.
They're Tampa. They'll find a way to win like 75-plus games because they always do. But I don't think they're very talented. I mean, they have a couple of young players. I think Weisner's been good, for example. They have a couple of guys. They called up Simpson, who's got a lot of speed. But I just think San Diego is clearly more talented. And I don't think it's that close. So if you want the value, once again, I'm not a Cease guy, but plus 150 on the run line when they're 12-1 at home, I think that's a great price. I'll go San Diego minus 1.5 if I have to pick this game for value. Moving on to the next game, you have the Pirates taking on the Dodgers. Damn, that series is going to look terrible. You have Keller against Sasaki. Dodgers minus 255. Pirates
it might be too short.
Yeah, you can make that argument. I mean, you got the pitching matchup of the season tonight with, of course, Skeens going up against Yamamoto. But afterwards, I mean, if Sasaki pitches okay, it could be interesting. But Dodgers minus 55. The Pirates are plus 210. Dodgers are 10-2 at home. Pirates are 4-9 on the road. Lost that game late to the Angels on Thursday night. For this game, though, I mean, Keller's 1-2, 4.180 ERA. Sasaki's not going any distance, but he has been better as the season's gone on. It's either Dodgers run line or basically the Pirates. I'll go Dodgers minus 1.5, minus 115. 115's manageable. Besides Cruz, I don't trust anybody on this lineup to do anything for Pittsburgh. I mean, Cruz cashed my home run bet a couple days ago on the show, but I don't think the team's any good, and we know they're not very good. Absolutely. So I'll go with the Dodgers at home, who've been great at home. Kind of like my Padres angle. Yeah. Give me a significantly more talented team with a great home record, and I think Sasaki's been fine. So give me the Dodgers minus 1.5, minus 115.
Yeah, glad you brought up that Padres because I think this is the same handicap here. Dodgers struggled a little bit on the road, swept in that 2-game set versus the Cubs. I think they come back home, and I think they're going to destroy the Pirates. in this series. I think the offense will get back on track. Sasaki's pitched well. He's kind of progressing they're bringing him along slow. I can kind of see
as they should.
Yeah, what they're doing with him and building up his confidence and different things like that. And I mean, they can afford to do that. I mean, if you've seen the rotation, they can afford to do that. But even still, you can see some of the things that he's building on, like game by game, and you can tell that he's getting more confident. He's gaining more trust in some of the things that he does well. And I think this is a perfect lineup for him to go against. So I would maybe take his K's and like parlay it with the Dodgers on the money line. Maybe you can get close to even money, I would think. But yeah, it's just a Dodgers smash spot for me.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers right now have, of course, a plethora of arms. The problem is they're starting to get injured like they always do. Glass now left his last start early. What else is new?
What I was going
to say, Snell's out indefinitely. What else is new? See if he comes back. And Kershaw's still rehabbing. What else is new? So we'll see what happens with those three guys. But the Dodgers are starting to get a little bit, I don't want to say shorthanded, but they are getting a couple of injuries that are popping up. It's why Knack keeps starting and why they keep throwing guys out there. So we'll see what happens with Sasaki, but he has been pitching better. And I like how the Dodgers saw him looking pretty underwhelming in his first couple outings, and they decided to change up strategies to ease his confidence along. I like it. I think they've done a good job. So I think it's a good matchup for him, given the Dodgers -1.5 in this one. For the final game of the matchup, you have the Marlins against the Mariners. For this game, you have Gillespie, who's been really bad, against Castillo, who's been quite underwhelming. For this one, though, Gillespie 6.75 ERA, Castillo's 2-2 with a 4.44 ERA. Seattle, though, has been hitting well lately. You're looking at Seattle being 8-5 at home. The Marlins are 3-5 on the road. Seattle, though, is -225. The Marlins are +185. And for the run line in this game, I see Seattle at about -108, give or take. If you want to find potentially better lines, I see -105 on Bet365. I'll ask you, because Seattle's offense, which has been a serious problem at home so far this season, has been waking up a little bit, especially on the road. So maybe that'll carry over into this series. Gillespie, though, has been a mess. And you're looking at Castillo, who's been underwhelming, but I think he's better than Gillespie. So based on that, do you want to take a spin with the Marlins? You're going to go with Seattle, because I might take a spin. I think -215 is just a 225 is such a massive number for Seattle. Yes, they've been playing better lately. 185? That's such a big price with a Seattle team that you still don't trust to actually hit it home. I'll go Miami. I know Gillespie's been worse than Castillo, but Castillo can get blown up in any inning. So give me Miami at +185.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I took Miami tonight, so I'm going to lay off of it.
You back Quantrill tonight. That's living dangerously. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm trusting Miami's offense here. So I like over both pitchers. I mean, if you look at Gillespie's, if you look at his numbers, I mean, 12 earned runs on 17 hits in his last 2 games. 4 of his 5 starts have went over. You mentioned the struggles of Castillo. He's not been good. I don't know what's going on with him.
They paid him a lot of money, and he's been pretty mid.
And I wanted the Yankees to get him at that one point in time. When he was with the Reds, when he was with the Reds, he was killing us every time.
We're Yankees fans. We want everybody.
Yes, that's fair.
We're being honest there.
That's fair. But I like over. I think both teams will be able to score. Seattle, I'm interested to see. I know we talked about it yesterday. Their offense is a lot better on the road than it is at home. So I want to see if they can kind of carry that over. And I mean, they got the perfect 2 pitchers in front of them. Well, hopefully not tonight, but they do have some susceptible pitchers to kind of keep their offense going and get some momentum. So I'm going to take the over in the game. I'll stay away from the side, but it would be Miami or nothing if I was playing it.
Yeah, I do want to point out for this matchup, once again, Seattle offensively, we know, has been good lately. We'll see if it transitions back home, because they've not been good at home, but 7.5 does feel pretty low with these pitchers. So I agree with you with the over in that one. Time to move on to the lock-in dog picks. We'll throw in a home run play, because why not? Before we get into that, though, a brief reminder, they're brought to you by Bottom Fans. You can play there on a pick 'em for a chance to win 100 times your money. You can also use different sports. You can use the MLB. You can use the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs. If you want to throw in some esports too, you can. But a reminder, sign up with the pro code MLBSGPN. So especially can first time with an offer up to 1K bonus cash. And fancy promo code MLBSGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, because they're the home of bet picks and props. They're also live Major League Baseball. They have models on NBA and golf. Picks so good that it feels like cheating. Building your model is also simple and easy. A reminder, you can also capitalize on their amazing deals, which are going on right now. 25% off monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25, 50% off the annual deal with promo code SGPN50. Rhythm, RATH, and remember promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB podcast. Finished going through every game on the Saturday card. Now it's time for the lock and dog picks. Lonte, I'll go first as always. What are your lock and dog picks for the Saturday card? You're muted.
I'm going to take
All good.
I'm going to take the Cleveland Guardians at home. I like the spot for them. I like Allen to go well. I like Buehler. I just think that Cleveland's a little bit more consistent as of right now than what Boston is, especially at home. Cleveland is. So I'm going to take a swing with Cleveland. Good price. They're hitting righties well. So I think that's like minus 110-ish. So you can get a good price on that. Just shop around. Maybe you can get reduced. But I like Cleveland tomorrow against Boston. For the dog, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with, did I give Milwaukee out? Yes. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Royals. I just think the price is a little bit too big.
Okay. By the way, just a brief announcement. The Orioles game today got postponed. So there was a doubleheader tomorrow. So keep that in mind. I was going to segue into my play because I saw minus 120 when I covered the Tigers game earlier. Yeah. We'll see if they switch up the pitchers or not. Mm-hmm. I hope they don't. But either way, assuming the line's going to be similar, give me the Tigers minus 120. I have to. I mean, Morton's ERA is north of 10. I've called him the worst pitcher in the league for about a month, and he keeps finding ways to find a new floor. He's been that bad. I feel like he's an auto fade, so I'll go with the Tigers in this one at minus 120 as my lock. For my dog, that might be game 2, by the way, but whichever game you see Morton pitching, I'll fade him. For the dog for this one, what do I want to go with here? There was a couple of things I was tempted by. I mean, Milwaukee I thought about because I do think that minus 160 really does feel massive for the Cardinals. I think I'll do it. Give me the, once again, Brewers on the money line here at a plus 135. I think the price is just too big. I understand Gray's been good, but I do think that he's also been a bit vulnerable. He's had guys on base, and we're looking at Priester, who doesn't go much distance, but he has been effective when he has been pitching. But plus 135 feels like a very big price fitting a Cardinals team that is still not very good. Milwaukee's better than this team. I get that the Cardinals are good at Busch Stadium, but I think Priester can go well enough to keep the Brewers in it. I do think Milwaukee can definitely get the job done here. Give me a close game, but I like the value. Give me plus 135 as my dog on Milwaukee. Anyway, Lonte, now it's time for the home run pick for the Saturday card. Who do you want to go with for your home run pick?
I'm going to go with the Reds game, who we expect a lot of runs out of them. So let's go with Matt McLain. He's been struggling the past few days. He's 0 for 9 in his last 2 versus Miami. I think he can get back on track in course here against a pitcher who we talked about who can give up a lot of contact. So I think McLain can hit one over tomorrow. So I like Matt McLain for Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, so for mine, I thought about going against Springs because he's given up a home run 4 straight starts. That involves backing a White Sox, though, which is one of the dumbest things you can possibly do. I wanted to go for, of course, Robert, but he's not been performing that well recently from what I remember. I mean, Vaughn has a home run against him, so that could be interesting. They faced off. I was going to say, I'm not the biggest Vaughn guy, but I think it's a decent matchup with this ballpark. I mean, Robert's batting 128 on the road. He's batting 138 overall. He's been horrible. I think I am going to go with Vaughn. Yeah, I'll go with Vaughn as my home run pick here. Once again, probably not what you expected. He's also been really bad average-wise, but he's been getting some hits lately. He's had 5 hits in the last 4 games that he's played. I do think that, once again, he's been doing pretty well this season in general against, in my opinion, weaker pitchers. We saw him hit I think it was a home run against, he had a home run against him in the last meeting they had about 2 weeks ago. So I'll go with it. Why not? Give me Vaughn did a home run in Sacramento against the pitcher he homered against about 2 weeks ago. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the, once again, games on Saturday. We'll be back once again on Sunday for the games on the Monday card. Until next time, you can find me on Twitter as Radio. Find him on Twitter at XXLonteXX. Till then, good luck to all of you and all of your bats. Bye, everyone.